Somewhere out there, someone had an idea, a melody, a feeling, and at 3 a.m. happened. What if they pick up not a horn, not a guitar, not a piano, but a laptop? I'm welcoming Stella Sypher. She won the weekly winner team of Inner Music with her song A Little Closer.
You wore the nightlight like satin on your skin. Street lamps kissed the places you had been. Promises like melodies grew thin, still I'm drawn.
Hi Stella, how are you?
Hi, thank you. Doing good. Thanks for having me. It's nice.
Thank you a lot. First, I want to kick off with a question. How did you came up with your song, Little Closer? What was your creative process behind that?
Sure. I love writing poetry, and I sometimes go back to old poems that are written because I've written since I was a teenager. And I'm from Brazil, actually, and this poem was inspired by my teenage years on the beach with friends, and just there's a part that says writing your name on the floor, but it was actually originally on the sand. So what I do often is I go back to something I've written and I adapt it to fit a specific concept or musical world. And in this case, I just wanted to try a new jazz song that was a bit more classic jazz, like a jazz standard. And I was refining it so it fit a more noir, jazzy mood, maybe set in New York, not in Rio Beach. I often start with the lyrics. So I was adapting what I had already written and researching some of my favorite jazz artists like Billie Holiday, Quincy Jones, and looking into what instruments or what styles and arrangements made them very well known and famous, and what I could collect from their work or get inspired by and create my own kind of collage or prompt, picking up these elements from different artists. And yeah, this was a very spontaneous song, actually, very spontaneous entry that I wanted to sound very sophisticated, but also true to a more vintage sound and era.
And which tools did you use? Did you create it with Suno?
Yeah, I use Suno. Usually I prompt and generate in V5, and then sometimes I remaster in V5.5, which was the case for this one.
Can you tell me more about your musical background? Have you composed any other songs before?
Yeah, actually, I come from a very musical family. I have two brothers who are music producers, but in very different genres. My older brother is a music producer in electronic music and deep house, actually. My younger brother, he's a DJ, actually tours around and travels playing Afrobeats and Brazilian fusion. He also does commercial jingles and things like that. And so I talk to them a lot about AI music and music in general. And we've always shared a lot of our favorite albums and interests and this kind of things. Yeah, these are my two biggest influences, I would say, my brothers. And when I started making AI music about 2 years ago, actually they were very open-minded about it, even though they're working in this industry. And even my younger brother, he still uses Suno to brainstorm jingles and ideas. So I also play a little bit the drums and I sing as a hobby, sometimes, especially jazz, which is a funny coincidence because of this song. So yeah, I think it's really my love for music, but not being able to record it, hire musicians in a studio, and obviously I'm not an instrumentalist. I don't know how to play the saxophone and the piano super well. To me, it's a creative channel and outlet where I can make anything come to life. Still loving making it.
We hear that actually from a lot of other artists, that AI is becoming as a tool just for free expression, where the availability of any other studios or production it's not available. I want to talk more about what you mentioned with the AI music. What's your opinion about that? Because we all know it's a love and hate relationship we have nowadays in the industry.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are curious about who owns the music. I have some friends who're very interested and curious, and they ask me, do you think it's entirely your creative process, or who sang this and where is this coming from, the melody, etc. And I think it depends, because sometimes the human doesn't put a lot of input and they just generate very quickly without really going into the craft and taking their time to refine that generation. I think it's subjective in terms of who owns the music, or if it's really theirs or like an art. So I think this question is very ambiguous, but I think it's very valid as an extension of the current musical ecosystem and not there to replace musicians or professionals. Most of the community members that I talk to, because I'm part of a couple of forums online, generated grooves, and also there's AI music battles websites and platforms, and they like to say they love music, they have their favorite artists and albums that inspire them, and that one thing does not exclude the other. So they love going to live concerts and don't see it as an exclusive thing, mutual exclusive things. It's really about the joy of music making and extending this ecosystem more than replacing it. And I'd say also there's this aspect that you can do anything with AI music, like literally like very funny songs, curveball songs, bend genres, really experiment freely in a matter of seconds. You could have a completely like out of the box kind of song and get wild with it, like experiment. And I think that's a freedom that we don't have with live music, not as quick, not as like in the practical sense, and that's fun as well. A lot of people make songs for themselves in terms of AI music. They're just playing around. It's a very personal thing too. Sometimes it's just like a channel of expression, something very personal, and they want these songs for themselves, for them, not to share necessarily with the entire world. So I think it's very positive.
Yeah. And what if I tell you that your song, it's possible to be played on a stage at Montreux Jazz Festival this year?
Oh, I think it's like an honor. That would be so nice, so cool. Yeah, just to have real humans listen to it is already a great thing, but actually learn it and interpret it, arrange it, that would just give it more life. Because I feel like sometimes the AI songs can be like a demo or like a sample. They're not perfect yet. And I tried, at least in my songs, to put in a lot of like emotion and try to get it to sound the most human possible, because I think that carries more emotion and just like more meaning and connects with people. So the possibility of taking it a step further and it being performed on a stage is just like incredible. I've actually done that with one of my songs. I've recorded it, me singing it after generating it on Suno, because I liked it so much. Yeah, it was challenging because of Suno's singers, vocalists. Usually they don't pause as much as real like human vocalists. So it was a challenge because the machine enunciates and delivers differently. So you only notice those little things when you try it out for yourself and try to perform the song.
Lastly, what would you like to recommend or say anything to upcoming musicians who want to experiment with AI but are a bit scared to jump on that and express openly their music?
I think stay open-minded and just play around, experiment with the genres and try new things. I think this is one of the best things about this tool is you can pull in different genres, like very specific, a specific country, a specific year, and very niche instruments that no one's heard about. And so I think this is one of the great things about AI music. So definitely stay open-minded and try new things. Stay true to the craft and try to make songs with intention, even if your intention is just for fun. But think about not necessarily saturating the internet with just the first thing that you generate, because there's already a lot of AI songs out there and a lot of music already out there. So I think it makes more sense to try to think about what you're making, the craft itself, and learn from the experience. And I think actually a lot of people just trying out Suno just for fun, or Udio or other platforms, they have a greater interest in music. They start learning more about structure and arrangement and style. And so I think it's actually a tool that encourages self-learning and interest in music. So yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, and I think new musicians or creators can take a lot from this.
Thank you so much, Stella, for your input. And congratulations again on the prize. The first one, actually, to win our weekly competition.
That makes me happy. Yeah, thank you.